My name is Qingchuan. I am so ordinary that I can't be more ordinary in high school girls. I have average learning and average appearance. The only thing I can do is probably. I can fall. Yes, it is the literal type of fall. That morning, I walked into the campus as usual, and I didn't carry the bag and I reached a small stone head beside the playground. At that time, I only had one thought in my brain: it's over, today I'm about to die again, and the kind face of the head teacher has magnified 10 times in my brain. As a result, the foot slipped down, and the whole person was swollen forward, facing downward, perfectly forming a 5 body protruding. Ah! I grinned in pain, and lay on the ground for a long time without getting up. There were several classmates who passed by the gym and laughed so hard that they leaned forward and closed. I heard someone say in a short voice, "Qingchuan's wrestling skills are definitely good at participating in the Olympic Games." I felt speechless in my heart, and I was ready to get up, but at this moment, there was a sudden, buzzing, sound in my brain, as if something was opened. I was stunned for a moment and rubbed my brain. What's going on? Going stupid? But the next second, I heard a clear sound, as if it was directly heard in my brain. Ha ha ha, Qingchuan's local bun fell like a dog chewing mud. It was so funny that I was so laughing. I was excited and raised my head suddenly, looking around. Who is talking? The few classmates at the scene left me far away, and they didn't even speak, and their voices were so clear. My heart skipped a beat. Can't I think I'm having a phantom? Just as I was wondering, the sound came again. Hey, she still looked west. Won't her brain really get damaged, right? This time I finally locked the source of the sound. There was a girl standing far away, pretty, wearing a white dress, smiling softly and harmlessly. She was looking at me, and she said, "Qingchuan, are you okay? Do you want me to help you up?" The girl is named Lan Xian, the green tea queen, in our class. She is as gentle as a little white flower on the surface, but there are so many hearts behind her that she can write this palace fighting script. I have no relationship with her, and I usually have to pay attention to her. But now, she cares about me. Is there another set of vocabulary in her brain? Help her. Just kidding, I won't touch this rusty bun, I'm dead. I was stunned. What's the situation? Can I hear her heart? This is too disgusting. I tried to stare at her, and sure enough, the sound came again, and my language was full of disgust. What do you think? I didn't even turn it tightly when I fell like this, and it was unconscious. My mouth twitched, and my heart was filled with anger. Okay, Lan Xian, there is one set on the surface and another on the back, right? I patted the soil on my body, stood up, and looked at her with a smile. Thank you, Lan Xian, don't help me. I am so rough and thick-skinned, and I can't get hurt. She was stunned for a moment, probably not expecting that I would be so calm, and she still had the hypocritical look on her lips. That's good, I just saw that you fell seriously, and I was still worried. I worry about being too fart. I wish you to fall and break your legs. It is best not to come to the class to get tired of your eyes. I almost laughed out loud. Is this inner thought too wonderful? I pretended not to hear about the dress, and continued to smile and said, "Yeah, Lan Xian, your skirt looks so beautiful, white is super elegant, like a fairy." When she heard this, her face smiled sweeter. Really? Thank you, Qingchuan, your skirt is quite unique. Sexuality? What are the things this local bun wearing? Isn't it mainstream in the country? Do you dare to compete with me? I lowered my head and looked at my plaid skirt. It was not fashionable, but it was not as good as she said. As soon as I heard this, I couldn't bear it anymore and opened it directly. Is that true? But although my skirt is rustic, at least I bought it myself, and it was not something that licked by others. Alas, by the way, Lan Xian, you won't be given by a dog licking, right? Now that dog licking is so prosperous, you have to grab the opportunity to pull more wool. Poochie. The students who passed by several times could not help but burst into laughter. Lan Xian's face turned green in an instant, and she said nothing, but she didn't say a word. I felt secretly happy, and there was still the innocent expression on my face. What's wrong? I was wrong. Sorry, I'm a stupid person and often speaks fragrant smells. I'm sorry. The whole scene burst into laughter. Lan Xian's face was so blue that she stared at me for a long time, and finally laughed. It's okay, Qingchuan, you really are joking. Just making a joke. How dare this person commit suicide? I remember, I have to calculate this account today. I heard her heart sound, and almost laughed and screamed. I still didn't know anything on my face. I snatched my hands. Then I'll go to the classroom first, Lan Xian, bye. When I turned away, I heard a little comment from my classmates around me. Yuqua, why is Qingchuan so much today? Lan Xian was so mean by her. Ha ha ha, dog-licking economy, it's absolutely. Qingchuan's mouth is too poisonous. My heart was so happy that I felt so happy just now. But what makes me even more excited is my newly discovered ability, reading skills. This thing is so awesome. If you can directly hear the truth from other people's brains, it is simply like a person's penis. Walking into the classroom, I was still digesting the facts. As soon as he sat down, Wang Feng, Gumi, came over and said, Qingchuan, I just heard that you have made Lan Xian green. Is it true? Tell me quickly. I rolled my eyes and said, what are you talking about? Isn't it just that she said that my skirt looks good, but she actually felt that it was so dismissed that I was so angry that I replied. Wang Feng slapped the table, smiling so hard that his eyes narrowed into a line. Ah, Qingchuan, when will you get married? Why didn't I realize you have such a talent? I was so proud that I couldn't say that I could hear Lan Xian's heart. It sounded so fantastic. When I said that Wang Feng had decided to think that my brain had fallen. Just as I was about to break the topic, another sound suddenly popped up in my brain. It's over. I read it this morning and didn't memorize the book. The head teacher won't check on me randomly, right? No, I have to find a reason to slip. What if I have stomachache? I was stunned and turned around and saw that it was not Wang Feng's voice. I stared at her. She was turning through the book calmly, and chatting with me. By the way, Qingchuan, I read English early today, have you memorized it? I tried to ask, Feng, what's your stomach? Are you feeling uncomfortable, right? She was stunned, her face was a little unnatural. Ah. No, it's okay, what's wrong? Finger, how did Qingchuan know that my stomach is uncomfortable? Can't she have a clear vision? I held back my smile and didn't know anything when I put it on. Oh, it's nothing, I just asked casually. By the way, I've gone to memorize the book, so don't steal it. Wang Feng pointed his head and replied, and said in her heart, back with a fart, I will go directly to the medical room after I get sick. Perfect. I lowered my head and smiled. Okay, this ability is really interesting. Not only can I hear the sound of Lan Xian's green tea, but I can even hear the inner little Jujioji clearly. But I didn't plan to expose Wang Feng. Although this is a silly man, it is really good to me. Just as he was thinking, a person suddenly walked into the door of the classroom. The whole class calmed down for a few seconds, and then the girls began to scream in a low voice, Haoran is here. Oh my god, it's so good today. Is it okay for him to be so simple in wearing a white shirt? I looked up and saw that it was Haoran, the school grass of our class. He was indeed very beautiful and clean, just like he came out of the comics. He looked at me as soon as he came in, then walked to his seat and sat down. The little deer bumped into my heart. Who doesn't like Brother Wang? But the next second, another sound appeared in my brain. Qingchuan just saw me. Does she like me? No, I can't be so self-righteous, but what if she really likes me? I have to be cooler, so I can't let her see that I'm tight. Oh, why am I tight? Why is my heartbeat so fast? I'm finished, won't my face beating red anymore, right? I almost sprayed it out with a sip of water. What? Is this Haoran's heart? He had a cold face on the surface, but why was he so silly in his heart? I glanced at him, and he was indeed sitting straight and his eyes were not slanted, but his ears were red like tomatoes. Font, she looked at me again. She absolutely likes me. No, I have to think of a way to try it out, but what am I saying? Why would she borrow a copy? No, it's too old-fashioned, will it make me look low? I couldn't help it anymore, and covered my mouth and laughed secretly, almost breaking my skills. Wang Fang saw that my shoulders were trembling when she saw me laughing, and she came over and asked in a short voice, Qingchuan, why are you laughing at? Are you nervous? I slammed my head and held it in a hurry. It's nothing, I just suddenly thought of a joke. Joker? She won't laugh at me, right? Oh my god, did I accidentally do something stupid? It's over, my image as a school grass is about to collapse. As soon as Haoran's heart sounded, I couldn't help it, and I laughed so hard that my head was buried in the table. Wang Fang looked inexplicably, are you really possessed? What kind of joke can make you laugh like this? I finally came over and looked up. Haoran was sneaking at me, his eyes full of tightness. I felt happy in my heart. Why is this school grass so cute? It's cold on the surface, but it's a sperm in the heart. I had been reading the sounds early, and I suppressed my smile and started to flip through the books, but my brain was full of the sounds I had just heard. Lanxin's green tea heart, Fangfang's silly calculations, and Haoran's shameful brain relief. This kind of heart-reading technique is simply a big killer. Not only can I know other people's real ideas, but I can also use these information to protect myself, and even counter those who don't think of me. After the class, I took Wang Fang to the corridor and pretended to ask, Fang, do you think there are many secrets hidden in this school? For example, who has any gossip with whom, or who has one on the surface and another behind the scenes? When Wang Fang heard this, her eyes lit up. It must be. Just say Lan Xian, she looks like a sacred mother on the surface, but she heard that she is going to be troubles in private, and there is also, she heard that there is a senior in her senior year. She said a lot of things. I heard it seriously on the surface, but I was just thinking in my heart, with the learning skills, wouldn't all the secrets in this campus be dug out by me? I've long let her be revealed as a villain like Lan Xian. There are also guys like Haoran who are so funny in their hearts. I have to find more opportunities to listen and say that they may make more jokes. Just as I was thinking, several private words from my classmates were transmitted from afar. My ears moved, and a few more thoughts appeared in my brain, and the content was more and more distant. I grinned and said, okay, I have understood this ability. Next, there will be a lot of fun in campus life. After class, Wang Fang and I leaned against the column in the corridor, and Yang Guang was in the campus. Several boys were playing basketball at the gym, shouting one after another. I was still savoring the sounds I just heard, Lan Xian's green tea heart, Haoran's shameful brain, and Wang Fang's silly little calculations, which made people laugh so hard that their stomach aches. My heart is so funny, reading the mind art is so interesting. I have to try it a few more times, and I may be able to dig out more joy. Wang Fang was holding her mobile phone to brush short videos, and she was humming some brainwashing song in her mouth. I glanced at her and suddenly her heart sounded out of her brain, hey, the little brother in this video is really. If I could have a boyfriend like this, don't say that I could do laundry and make meals, I could lick it clean. I almost sprayed my blood with an old mouthful and couldn't help but complain, Fang, what do you think in your brain all day long? Licking the ground? Why don't you lick the plate? She was stunned. Her phone almost fell to the ground, and her face instantly turned like a color tuning plate. Ah? Qingchuan, what are you saying? I didn't think anything. Collection, how did she know what I was thinking? Could it be that I just accidentally said it? It's impossible, I'm not moving. I looked at her panicked expression, held back her smile, and didn't know anything when I put it on. It's nothing, it's just that you're so fascinated by videos, and said casually. What's wrong, do you really have any unspeakable ideas? Wang Fang hurriedly held her hands, her face swelling like a monkey's but, no, what can I think? I just brushed the video, ha 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 ha. It's over. Will the guy like Qingchuan really have any special functions, right? No, I have to calm down, don't let her see that I'm sucking my brain. I couldn't hold it in, so I burst out laughing and said, okay, Fang Fang, I won't ask about the small drama scene in your brain, so that you can't be embarrassed. She widened her eyes and said, what kind of small drama is it? Why can't I understand? If you don't know anything, she definitely knows what she wants. No, I have to find a chance to get a condom later. Why is Qingchuan so evil today? My shoulders trembled with a smile, and I thought to myself, this inner thought of Guanmi's really a sculpted ceiling, I can just shoot a comedy movie. But I didn't plan to tell her about my mental illness. After all, this ability sounded too mysterious. She said that she decided to think that my brain was in water. As we were chatting, we were getting over the class and we rushed back to the classroom. This is a mathematics class. The teacher is a middle-aged uncle wearing thick-eyed glasses. He is called Lao Wang. He is quite humorous, but his lectures are a bit hypnotic and can often make people feel drowsy. Wang Fang and I sat in the back row. As soon as we flipped through the book, I heard that her brain started to act again. Hey, why is Lao Wang missing another pair of hair? If this speed continues, it will take less than half a year to change the Mediterranean, right? No, I have to hold it in, don't laugh out loud, ha ha ha. I glanced at her. She was lowering her head and pretending to read a book, her mouth was thrusting like cramps. I felt happy in my heart and quietly wrote a sentence on her notebook, the Mediterranean is about to be online, come and see it quickly. When Wang Fang saw it, his eyes lit up instantly. He almost slapped the table, but he still held it in his arms and replied, don't be so angry, we will be done when we are caught by Lao Wang. That's a waste, I'm just going to shout, old Wang, why do you have a hair like a programmer? Ha ha ha, I'm so laughing. I looked at her heart and turned my brain and decided to tease her, so I added some materials to this class. I said in a short voice, Fang Fang, do you dare to play a joke? We amused Lao Wang, maybe he won't keep his job once he is excited. She heard this and came to fuck, what to do? Tell me. I smiled and said, when he finishes his questions, let's pretend to ask questions, use memes to see what he reacts. Wang Fang's eyes lit up and he pointed, okay. I'm good at this job. Ha ha ha, Qingchuan's idea is absolutely true. If Lao Wang is confused, I can laugh for a year. I stood up and put on a face to tell the truth, teacher, I'm a little confused about this topic. Can I talk about it again? Especially when I found that X? I feel it is like my life, lost in the endless unknown. The whole class was stunned. After a few classmates couldn't help but laughed. Lao Wang was also stunned for a moment, and held the eyeglasses. Qingchuan, your metaphor is quite creative. However, if you are lost in life, mathematics cannot help you. Let's find the X first. He said and explained again. I lowered my head and smirked. Wang Fangyan covered her mouth directly, her shoulders trembling as if they were squid. After Lao Wang finished speaking, she also took action and asked, thirsty for knowledge, teacher, I still don't understand. How does this Y count? Do you have to charge it first and then it will become bigger? As soon as this happened, the whole class exploded, laughter came one after another, and several boys even slapped the table. Lao Wang's face was stiff and it took him a long time to react and said with a laugh and cry, Wang Fang, are you using math as a game? What does it mean to recharge Y? But your idea is really fresh. Bored, Lao Wang's reaction was absolutely true. I couldn't do it anymore. My stomach hurts so much, ha ha ha. As soon as Wang Fang's heart sounded, I was even more smiling and couldn't breathe. The atmosphere of the whole class was so exciting that even the few low-key students in the front row turned around and laughed. Lao Wang looked at us and shook his head helplessly. Okay, you little ghosts, you almost become a jokester in this class today. But you still have to write your work, don't worry about getting over it. After class, my classmates in the class were still discussing the joke just now. Someone ran over and patted me on the shoulder. Qingchuan, you and Wang Fang's operation today are too good. You can't even get rid of Lao Wang. Someone shouted directly, you are just a funny deed in our class. I'll have more work in the future. Wang Fang slapped her chest proudly, it must be. Qingchuan and I are just a talk show when we open it. I smiled and didn't say anything, and I felt a little proud. With the learning skills, I can catch other people's inner dramas at any time. With the help of Wang Fang, this combination is simply unrivaled. It is estimated that it will become a celebrity in the campus in the short time. However, I also know in my heart that this ability cannot be used. The more I know, the more I may be troublesome. Just like a person like Lan Xian, she smiled like a flower on the surface, but she might be in the middle of her heart. Just as she was thinking about this, Lan Xian really had something to do in her linguistic class in the afternoon. The verbal teacher is a very strict female teacher, with her surname Li, and she is the most quaint and secret. She checks each time she hands over the work. This day she accepted our essay, and when the venue started random inspections and corrections, she clicked a few names. Lan Xian was one of them. She took the text on stage with her composition and smiled softly and softly, Teacher, I may not write well this time, so you criticize and correct me more. Teacher Li pointed at her head, flipped through her notebook and looked at it for a few seconds, and her face suddenly sank. Lan Xian, why is your composition so similar to Qingchuan's content? It's almost exactly the same. The whole class became quiet in an instant, and everyone looked at Lan Xian and me. My heart skipped a beat, what's going on? How could my composition be the same as hers? I haven't even touched her notebook. While wondering, Lan Xian suddenly turned to me with a surprise face. Her language was filled with care. Qingchuan, you wouldn't have copied my composition? I remember I read it to you after I finished writing it yesterday. You said you wanted to borrow it, but I thought you were just looking at it. I almost rolled my eyes when I heard it. I just couldn't help but feel that I hadn't read her composition yet. These goods are clearly showing me. The classmates started talking about private words, and some people said in a short voice, Yucao, Qingchuan copied it as a business? It's not like her style. Some people also said, how could Lan Xian hear this strange? I feel a little tea. Teacher Li stared at me with a stern expression. Qingchuan, what explanation do you have? I was about to open my mouth when Lan Xian's heart suddenly appeared in my brain, and my language was full of pride. Ha, Qingchuan is dead this time. I copied her composition yesterday, changed a few words and handed it over. Now let's see how she cleansed it. Let her face be in front of the whole class, and see if she dares to fight me. I heard the fire went upwards. Okay, Lan Xian, you are really doing this green tea operation. Did you secretly copy my composition and take a bite? But you have made many calculations, but I didn't expect that I could hear your inner thoughts, right? I smiled coldly, stood up, and said calmly, Teacher, I didn't copy her essay. Instead, Lan Xian might have borked my content. If you don't believe it, you can ask other students. When I was writing the essay yesterday, several students were watching, and they all knew what the content was. Lan Xian's face changed and her mouth was still hard. Qingchuan, what do you mean? Can you tell me that I'm expressing my essay? I clearly saw my essay yesterday, and everyone can prove it. It's a nonsense. Anyway, I have arranged someone. Someone will definitely help me. Qingchuan can't turn over this time. I heard her heart's voice and sneered in my heart. I have arranged the person, right? Then I want to see what flowers you can find. I turned to Wang Fang and gave her a look. She stood up and said, Teacher, I watched her write an essay next to Qingchuan yesterday. I remember the contents very clearly. It was indeed her own. Moreover, why didn't I see it when Lan Xian said that she had read the essay for Qingchuan? Lan Xian, when did you give it to? Why didn't anyone know? Several classmates in the class also cheered. Yes, Lan Xian, when did you give Qingchuan an essay? Why don't we remember? I remember Qingchuan was discussing 1 or 2 sentences with us yesterday. It was indeed she wrote it herself. Lan Xian's face turned pale in an instant, and she stammered, I showed it to her privately, of course you didn't see it. How ugly, why did these people talk to Qingchuan? No, I have to find a reason to overturn it, otherwise I will be exposed. I looked at her heartwarming look and put on a knife. Lan Xian, let me see it in private. Then do you say, when did you show me? Is it in the classroom or in the corridor? Has anyone seen it? Besides, my composition has never left my hand, how could you copy my content? Unless, you peeked at my notebook. As soon as this happened, the whole class was silent, and Teacher Li's face became even more difficult to see. Lan Xian, you must explain this matter clearly. What is going on? Copying is not a trivial matter. Lan Xian bit her lips, her face turned blue and white, and after a long time she whispered, I may have remembered something wrong. Maybe I had read her composition, and then accidentally wrote it too much. It's over. There's no way to deal with it. Why is Qingchuan so difficult to deal with? If I had known I would have changed more content. I heard her heart sound, almost laughing, and I still put on my face as innocent. Oh, that's it, then Lan Xian, you have to be careful. If you write too much like it will easily be misled. Teacher, I believe Lan Xian did not mean it. After all, she usually looks so kind, right? I deliberately bit the word kindness heavily. The classmates in the class heard it and the laughter became even louder. Someone said in a short voice, Yinko, Qingchuan's mouth is too slapped. Lan Xian's face is green. Ha, Lan Xian's own way of suffering is a disaster, it's absolutely. Teacher Li looked at Lan Xian coldly and said, I will investigate this matter again, but I will never tolerate copying this behavior. Lan Xian, I will deduct your composition first and go back and reflect on it. Qingchuan, I have read your composition. The content is indeed original. I will not pursue you this time, but I will also check it myself before handing over the work next time. I clicked the head and had flowers bloomed in my heart. Lan Xian's operation simply lifted a stone and smashed her feet. Not only did she not frame me, but she made herself a laughing stock in the whole class. After class, she sat in her seat with her head down, her face as if she had eaten shit. Her classmates around her pointed at them and kept talking about her private words. Wang Fang came over and gave me a thumbs up. Qingchuan, your operation today is so good. Lan Xian's face, ha, I can laugh for a year. I was so proud that I pretended to be calm, it's nothing. She dug a hole and jumped by herself. I just pushed it with a hand. Bad, why is Qingchuan so powerful today? Can you tell me what special functions she has? No, I have to watch it again. Hearing Wang Fang's heart, I almost laughed out loud again, and said firmly, Fang Fang, don't be gossipy. Let's think about how to do the next class. Maybe I can make fun of Lao Wang again. When she heard this, her eyes lit up again. Okay. Our combination is definitely a campus joke manufacturer. I smiled and thought in my heart that the ability to read the mind is getting more and more fun. Not only can I hear the sound of Sha Yan, but I can also know other people's calculations in advance. A villain like Lan Xian, Wu Zhen is not my opponent. Today's reaction is just the beginning. Next, I have to use this ability to dig out more campus gossip, so that those who don't think of me can be classified as eating. After school, Wang Fang and I were walking home. The sunset grew and the noise in the campus dissipated. My brain is still recalling what happened today, from falling in the morning to discovering the mentality, to the hilariousness in the class and Lan Xian's car. This day was as simple as riding a mountain bike. Just as I was thinking, several girls' smiles suddenly came from far away. My ears moved, and several more heartfelt sounds appeared in my brain, and the content was more exciting than the other. The next morning, I walked into the campus with my bag in my back, and I was still savoring yesterday's war results. Lan Xian's green face, and Haren's shameful inner thoughts can make me laugh until next year. However, today I didn't plan to be low-key. Since the mental health care is open, I have to use it well, and I might be able to dig out more secrets in the campus. As soon as I walked down the teaching building, I felt a buzzing sound in my brain, as if something was suddenly magnified. Afterwards, all kinds of chaotic sounds began to appear in my ears, which were even wider than the range I heard yesterday, and even the sounds on the front of the exercise venue. Hey, why is breakfast so hard to eat today? Does the canteen mother have a grudge against me? It's over, I haven't finished writing the work. What should I do if the teacher checks it out later? Or will I be terrified? That new school transfer student is too rare. Should I ask for a WeChat account? No, what if you are rejected, what should you do? It's a society to die. I was stunned for a moment, and these thoughts came one after another, like a large broadcasting station, which made my brain a little disturbing. I rubbed my son's vagina and thought to myself, what's going on? Can you still upgrade your mind-reading skills? But soon I reacted that this scope has become wider. Can't I hear more people's inner thoughts? This is so cool, it is a magical tool for collecting information. As I was just having fun, I suddenly heard a familiar and harsh voice, and my language was filled with danger. Qingchuan, this guy, let me lose my face in the whole class yesterday, I must report this hatred. The campus cultural festival is coming soon, I have to make good use of this opportunity to let her die in the society. It would be best if the whole school knows that she is a joke. My heart skipped a beat. Isn't this Lan Xian's voice? What kind of bad water is she holding? I looked in the direction of the sound, and sure enough, she was standing in the corridor far away, chatting with several girls, still with the smirk on her face, and said, we must prepare well for the cultural festival programs and fight for the first place. The first place is nonsense. I don't care about any program. I have already arranged it. The cultural festival will definitely make Qingchuan feel bad. Humph, doesn't she like to be in trouble? I let her out a little bit. I heard the fire, Lan Xian was really unwilling to give up. I was so speechless yesterday that I started to swear. Today I will start to turn to a bigger sarcasm. The campus cultural festival is the most popular event in our school every year. There are performances, competitions, and seats. Basically, all teachers and students in the school will participate, which has a particularly great impact. If she causes trouble at this time, she will definitely let the human resources and society die. I sneered, okay, Lan Xian, you want to play, right? Then let's see who has played. Just as he was thinking about how to deal with her, Wang Feng patted me on the shoulder from behind and grinned, Qingchuan, why are you busy? Let's go, the first session today is sports class, let's go to the gym to get a good seat. I clicked the head and walked to the playground with her, and I was still calculating about Lan Xian's affairs in my heart. When we arrived at the playground, the sports teacher let us play freely for a while, saying that we had to test the 800-meter run. Wang Feng and I sat down in a corner. She started to brush her phone. I continued to scan the surrounding hearts to see if I could dig out some Lan Xian's plan. At this time, several boys ran over us, and one of them suddenly felt, the guy Lan Xian came to me yesterday and said that I asked her to do something in the cultural festival. She didn't explain anything clearly, but gave me 100 pieces, and I felt a little unfavorable. My eyes lit up, oh. Lan Xian is really starting to attract people. It's too cheap to buy these 100 pieces of people. I was about to listen again, and there were several girls' voices coming from there. Lan Xian said that there would be a big girl on the cultural festival that day. We could cooperate with her and say that she could mess with someone, but I always thought she was smiling strangely. Isn't that bad thing? The more I hear, the more I feel, the more I feel. This Lanxin is really not simple and has already started to make plans. Although the specific plan is still unclear, her idea of me is already very clear. I gritted my teeth and made a secret decision in my heart. On this day of the cultural festival, I not only have to protect myself, but also have to make her trample through the car and make herself a laughing stock in the whole school. Just as I was worried, a figure suddenly walked over from afar, and my clean white shirt shook under the sun, making me look a little bit. It was Howren. He walked with a bottle of mineral water and was still so crowded. Several girls next to him started screaming again. I was about to withdraw my visual line, but his heart suddenly came out of my brain, and it was still the shy voice. Hey, Qingchuan is there. Is she looking at me? No, I have to wear it and stay cool, but why is my palm sweating? Why is this water bottle so slippery? Don't fall off, it will be so embarrassing to death if it falls on the ground. I almost laughed out loud. Why is this guy always so fun in his heart? On the surface, he looks cool, but he feels so tight that he looks like a primary school student. I deliberately looked at him twice more, and sure enough, his heart sounded again. Candle, she is really looking at me. Why is her eyes so bright? Did you find that my ears are red? No, I have to find a reason to say it in the past, but what should I say? Ask the weather. No, it's too stupid. I couldn't hold it in my mouth and laughed secretly. Wang Fang saw me laughing so hard that her shoulders were shaking, and couldn't help asking, Qingchuan, what's wrong with you? She smiled like she was possessed by an evil spirit. I slammed my head and said, it's nothing, I just saw something fun. As he was speaking, Howren found a reason to leave, holding the bottle of mineral water in his hand, and putting it in a casual manner. Qingchuan, do you have an empty space here? I'll sit here for a rest. I felt happy in my heart, and I was still calm on my face. Yes, sit down, the playground is not my home. He sat down, his ears still red like tomatoes, and said, it's quite hot today, so you have to be careful not to run with heatstroke. Weather? Bone, why do I say such a stupid thing? Qingchuan wouldn't think I'm bored, right? No, I have to find another question, but my brain is blank. I heard his heart sound and couldn't help but want to tease him. I said with a smile, it's quite hot, Howren, why are your ears so red? Isn't it because of heatstroke? Do you want me to help you with it? Puff. Wang Fang next to him blew it, laughing and chanting, Qingchuan, what are you talking about like tigers and wolves? Blow it? Ha ha ha. Howren's face burst into red in an instant, and his neck was red. He stammered, it's okay, it's just sunny, don't blow it, really. Blow. She said blowing. My heart beats so fast, what does Qingchuan mean? She doesn't really like me, right? No, I have to be calm, but my brain is in trouble. I looked at his at a loss, laughing so hard that my stomach hurts, and I rushed to help, Howren, don't be really good. Your ears are red like tomatoes, it's really fun. He lowered his head and slapped his back, saying, oh, well, it's okay, I'm ill. Artistic bullshit, is it okay if I haven't treated it at all? Why can Qingchuan always hit me with shame? It's over, my school grass image is gone. I held back my smile and pretended that I didn't hear his heart, so I turned around and chatted with Wang Fang. Howren sat next to me, occasionally glanced at me, but still felt unbelievable. What about, she looks so good when she smiles, and, am I taking the initiative? I heard the little deer in my heart, but I still don't know what to do on my face. This guy is cold on the surface and sweet on the inside, how can he be so cute? After the physical education class, we went back to the classroom. My brain was still thinking about the feeling that Howren had just said, and the corners of my mouth were striking. However, for the sake of being happy, Lan Xin still has to solve the problem. The cultural festival will be here in a few days. I must find out her plan in advance, otherwise I will be depressed by being beaten. While eating at noon, Wang Fang and I sat in a corner of the cafeteria. I deliberately chose a seat close to Lan Xion's table and pretended to eat with my head low. In fact, my ears had already been set up. Sure enough, it took not long before Lan Xion's heart to be heard again. Her language was full of viciousness. On the day of the cultural festival, I had arranged people to perform the props for Qingchuan to move her hands, so that she could have a slap in front of the whole school. Also, I will spread rumors, saying that she stole the creativity of the program and see how she cleansed it. I heard that the chopsticks in my hand almost fell off. Okay, Lan Xian, you are so cruel that you can use your hands to make a mistake. You can do it with both hands, right? But you underestimate me too much, thinking I'll sit and wait? I sneered and decided to start first, and then she turned her plan yellow. After eating, I took Wang Feng to the small forest behind the campus. There were few people here, which was suitable for secret matters. I told her that Lan Xian might be causing trouble in the cultural festival. Of course, I still didn't mention the mentality, just said that I heard some voice. Wang Feng heard this and Lima slapped the table. Boat, Lan Xian's goods are too expensive, right? Everyone is playing with the cultural festival, how can she use it to mock people? Qingchuan, we can't let her succeed, we must fight back. I pointed out that there was a preliminary plan in my brain. Yes, we have to figure out her specific arrangements first, for example, who she found to help, what are the props for moving her feet, and how to spread the words. Feng, you are very generous, help me listen and see who has been close to Lan Xian recently, especially those students who are usually not very eye-catching, and they may be her little brother. Wang Feng slapped her chest and said, pack to me. I'll ask my gossip team and save it and dig out something. I smiled and pointed, but I was still counting the next step in my heart. It may not be enough to just listen. I still have to use my mental reading to listen Lan Xian's voice. After all, the plan in her brain is much more detailed than what she said. At the same time, I have to protect myself and can't let her start first. During the afternoon class, I specially meted Lan Xian in the corridor. She was chatting with several girls. When I saw me, I still had the hypocritical smile on my face. Qingchuan, what programs are you preparing for in the cultural festival? You have to perform well by then. I sneered in my heart and said in cooperation, I'm not sure yet, Lan Xian, where is your class? It's up to you to be so aggressive, should you have a big move, right? She smiled sweeter, of course, our class is ready to go seriously, and we will definitely surprise everyone by then. Surprise? Humph, the surprise is left to you, Qingchuan, wait and let your face be in front of the whole school. I heard her heart's voice and smiled, then I have to wait and see. I hope your surprise will not make people too shocked. She was stunned for a moment, probably not hearing my implicit voice, and she was still perfunctory. Don't worry, it will definitely be very exciting. Excellent fart, I see if you can still laugh when you die on the day of your club. I didn't pay attention to her anymore and turned around, and I had already started to calculate the solutions in my mind. Lan Xian is too toxic, so I must be careful to respond. In the next few days, I had to pay attention to her movements at all times, and at the same time I had to prepare my own programs, so I couldn't give her a chance to take advantage of it. After school, Wang Feng and I were walking home. She excitedly said to me, Qingchuan, I just heard a message that there was a boy named Xiaoli who had been mingling with Lan Xian recently and heard that Lan Xian gave him some good things and let him do something. The specifics are not detailed, but it must have something to do with the cultural festival. I clicked the head, which matched the heart I heard in the morning. It seemed that Lan Xian was really helping the school. I patted Wang Feng on the shoulder, beautiful job, Feng. Next, we have to dig a little deeper, it's best to know how they operate. Wang Feng smiled and said, don't worry, my gossip soul has been burned. It's not been 2 days. I'll give you some hot news. I smiled and felt a little heavy in my heart. Lan Xian's plan this time is quite large, and it may be a bit difficult for me to deal with it alone. However, when I think about it, I still have such a big killer as a mental medicine. What are I afraid of? Besides, Wang Feng, who has assisted this silly, may be able to pull Haoren to help. Although this guy is ashamed, he is still quite reliable. Just as I was thinking of Haren, my brain couldn't help but feel the feelings he had on the playground today, such as, heart beats so fast, and, she looks so beautiful when I smiled, which made my face feel a little hot. I was slammed and thought to myself why there are so many troubles in this guy. However, it is really interesting to interact with him. It is possible to say that cultural festivals can also take advantage of the opportunity to get closer. When I got home, I lay on the bed, my brain was filled with the sounds I heard today, Lan Xian's jealousy, Haren's shame and brain relief, and Wang Fang's silly gossip and passion. This campus life is more exciting than idle dramas because of the blessing of reading the mind. I clenched my fists and made a secret decision in my heart. No matter what tricks Lan Xian plays, I have to protect the cultural festival and let her plan be soaked in the bottom of it. If you are so easy, you have to tease Haren more. After all, his inner thoughts are so funny. The night was shining outside the window, and the lights in the campus were lit far away. I grinned and said, tomorrow will be another day full of jokes and battles. The campus cultural festival finally arrived. This day, the campus was as popular as the new year. There were colorful flags and balls everywhere. A temporary stage was set up on the playground, and the people in the area were swaying, and the air was filled with the fragrance of skewers and milk tea. Wang Fang and I came to the school early in the morning. As representatives of our class, we are responsible for this afternoon's performance, a funny sketch called Campus Sand Sculpture Daily. Our spirit comes from our usual sand sculpture life. There are so many lyrics that can make people laugh. However, I actually felt a little bit stupid in my heart, because I kept hearing Lan Xian's inner thoughts these days and knew that she was so excited that she wanted to mess with me in the cultural festival. Although I had already prepared for the precautions in advance, she still didn't know what to do, so she could only take one step at a time. Seeing that I looked unfavorable, Wang Fang patted my shoulder. Qingchuan, what's wrong? Are you so tight? Don't worry, our sketch will definitely blow up the scene. When you come on stage, you just need to remember not to smile. I smiled reluctantly. What are you tight? I'm afraid there will be problems with the props. Didn't I check yesterday? You can go to the backstage to confirm it later, and don't go on stage and fall off the chain. Wang Fang clicked the head and ran to the backstage to work hard. I stood at the playground, my ears were set up, and I tried to scan my heart's voice around to see if I could dig out some Lanqin's plan. Sure enough, I never heard a familiar and silent sound. Qingchuan, today is your death date. Props, I have let Shaoli move his feet. When you come on stage, you will be a big fuss and everyone in the school will laugh at you. My heart skipped a beat. Lan Xian was really not in good faith. The props were moved. This is not a trivial matter. There is a key ring in our sketch that requires fake, frying, props to match the performance effect of the show. If the props are damaged, the whole program will collapse. I rushed to the backstage, found Wang Fang, and pretended to ask casually, Fang, have all the props been checked? Is that fake bomb not a problem? Wang Fang was stunned and patted the gray on his hand. I just checked it, there is no problem, what's wrong? Why did you suddenly ask this? I was worried, so I took the fake bomb and swayed it unintentionally. Sure enough, I heard a little uneven sound inside, as if the parts were loose. I pretended not to find it and said in a low voice, it's nothing, I just think this thing is very important. Let's take it apart and take a look. It won't be blown up until then, and I can't laugh it out. Although Wang Fang was absent, she still helped me to open and check. As a result, the small spring inside was indeed moved and turned into a bat and could not make the expected explosion sound. If this prop becomes popular directly when it comes on stage, our performance effect will be 50% off. I sneered. Lan Xian's trick was really terrifying. I guess she wanted us to lose faces in front of the whole school and become a laughing stock. Wang Fang looked at the damaged parts and jumped up in anger. Who is it fucking? Isn't this intentional cheating? We have been practicing for so long, how can we make things bad? I patted her on the shoulder and her brain flew. Don't worry, we have a preparatory plan. Since the frying cannot be blown up, we will change it to a frying and write this into the linguistic lyrics as a laugh, and maybe the effect is better. Wang Fang's eyes lit up. Yes. We can act like the quality of the bomb is not good, the manufacturer has to pay for it, which will definitely make fun of the audience. Qingchuan, why is your brain so bright? I smiled and didn't say anything. I was secretly happy in my heart. I was so happy that I had to read the skills, otherwise I would have to go through the car this time. Next, we spent half an hour urgently adapting the script to add the burning fire incident, turning it into a super silly smile. Then we added a few popular memes on the internet recently, which are guaranteed to make the audience laugh so hard that their stomachs hurt. After the correction, we took the time to check out the Taiwanese lyrics several times to ensure that we would not get stuck when we came on stage. Before the afternoon performance started, there were already people on the playground, and there were a lot of black and white under the audience, and even the teachers came. I stood in the backstage and took a sneak peek. My heart was a little nervous, but more excited. Lan Xan wants to see me go crazy. Then I'll let her see what turning danger into laughter means. At this time, I heard her heart again and came from afar. Qingchuan's group will come on stage immediately. When the props are broken, let's see how they will take the scene. I also arranged a few people to make a fuss as soon as the performance ended, and I promised that they would die home. I heard the fire. Okay, Lan Xian, you not only tacked your hands, but also arrange for someone to make a fuss. This mindset is really deep. But I'm not afraid, and I'll let you know what it means to suffer from self-destruction. When we got on stage, Wang Fang and I were wearing a group of other classmates, wearing an annoying prop suit, pretending to be a campus agent team, which attracted a lot of laughter as soon as we came on stage. Our performance was normal at first, and we talked about several sand sculpture students pretending to perform secret missions. The lyrics were all popular online memes, such as, "This wave of Operation 666, and, I just slid and kneeled down." The audience laughed so hard that they leaned forward and fell backward. When it comes to the key ring, it is time to blast out. I deliberately took out the fake bomb, pretended to be a face and said seriously, "Comrades, this is our ultimate weapon, which is amazing. Once you press it, the enemy will directly GG." Wang Fang answered, and said with a frown, "Really, fake? Is this thing not a Taba 9-pack and 9-pack mail, right? Don't be so popular that we should die first." The audience in the audience started laughing. I pretended to press the switch on the decorative surface, but the props were indeed unsatisfied and a very awkward puff sound came out. I put on a horse and looked shocking, and turned my head and shouted at Wang Fang, "Boat, what's wrong with the manufacturer? This quality is not good, return it. It must be returned. I have to sue it to 315. Wang Fang cooperated with her ingenious clothes and said, "What's the matter with 315? Let's go to the wolf court and sue it for the destruction. Comrades, the failure of the mission is not ours, but this broken prop is not a force. Let's withdraw first and switch to Beijing to self-built another day." The whole scene exploded in an instant, and the laughter was as loud as the sea. The audience clapped their hands and slapped them red. Someone shouted directly, "Ha ha ha, what is the war wolf court? Qingchuan, you are so good at slapping your life." Several teachers couldn't help but cover their mouths and laughed secretly. I glanced at Lan Xian in the audience and found that her face was as green as spinach. I guess we didn't expect that we would not only not be surprised, but instead turned the bad props into the biggest laugh. After the performance, we bowed a few times, and the sounds and shouts in the audience did not stop. Some people even shouted, "Qingchuan, Wang Fang, come another one." We returned to the backstage, and several small groups hugged each other excitedly. Wang Fang patted my shoulder and smiled so hard that his eyes narrowed into a line. "Qingchuan, you have reacted so badly at this moment. Why did you think of making the fire laugh?" I was convinced, really convinced. I smiled and said, "Isn't it just a silly edit? Besides, our silly talent is just a talk show whenever we get to know each other. What are you afraid of? Editorially. How can Qingchuan turn into a barbarian? No, I have to think about it again, and I can't keep her so proud. I heard Wang Feng's heart sound, and almost laughed out loud, and I still didn't know what to do on my face. I patted her on the head. Don't say it, there will be other programs later. Let's go to the audience to have some snacks to reward myself. We picked up the stage, found a seat to sit down, holding the marshmallow I bought in our hands, eating and watching the performances of other classes. However, my ears were still unlucky and I scanned Lan Xian's heart at any time. Sure enough, not long after, her heart was hurt again, and her language was filled with a rush. How ugly, how can a person like Qingchuan turn the plate? The props are damaged and they can still laugh a lot. This is unscientific. The person I spent money to find didn't make a fuss, and just took the waste. No, I have to pick her in person so that she knows that I am not easy to mess with. I sneered in my heart, pick on it. Okay, Lanxin, I want to see what kind of flowers you can make. Sure enough, after a while, Lan Xian walked over with several followers, and still had the hypocritical smile on her face. Qingchuan, your performance just now is really good, especially the explosive part, which made me smile so hard that my eyes were all over. Oh, by the way, why are your props damaged? Could it be that someone was deliberately making trouble, right? As soon as this came out, several classmates around me read it and heard the private words. Someone said in a silence, Lan Xian has some tea, what does it mean? I felt happy in my heart. Lan Xian wanted to make trouble for everyone, so she threw the bad props to other people and put them in vain. However, she couldn't hide the truth in her heart. I heard the thought in her brain, the props are damaged. It depends on how you answer. As long as you admit that there is a problem, I will say that you are not prepared well, or you offended someone. Anyway, you can't get rid of it. Besides, the props are my hand that makes people move, and you have no evidence. You are so angry. I almost laughed out loud. Lanxin, you play very well with this little calculation, but unfortunately I can hear your inner thoughts, and there are so many broken things like a squid. I pretended to be innocent and said with a smile, Lan Xian, thank you for your award. It was indeed quite surprising that the props were bad, but fortunately we did it still, and the audience liked it very much. Do you think someone was messing around? Oh, that's amazing. Who would be so boring? Do you know the props in our group? Unless, they know us and know where we put them, so that we can move our feet, right? As soon as this came out, the eyes of classmates around the world changed. Someone said in a low voice, yes, the props are placed in the backstage, and most people cannot enter unless they are recognized. Yucao, what does Qingchuan mean? Can you say it is fucked by internal people? Lan Xian's face froze and her mouth was still hard. Qingchuan, what do you mean? I didn't say who fucked me. I just asked casually, don't think too much. Think about it so much. There is something in this guy. Can't she know what she is? It's impossible. I've made it so hard that she could find it out. I heard her heart, curled the corners of my mouth, and continued to replenish my knife. Of course I didn't think much about it. Lan Xian, you are so kind, you will definitely not be suspicious. But when you come back, the props are really strange. Yesterday was fine, but today it was bad, but the key props we performed were still too coincidental, right? If we hadn't changed the lyrics, we might have really lost our faces in front of the whole school. Alas, who would know our program so well and have a special choice to start at this time? The classmates in Zhou Rong's eyes lit up after hearing this, and someone directly called out, yes, who can be so accurate? What is this, not an internal ghost? Lan Xian, have you also participated in the cultural festival registration preparation? Do you know what to do? Lan Xian's face turned pale in an instant, and she stammered, how would I know? Too fart, she deliberately guided everyone to doubt me. No, I have to take my body tightly, otherwise I will really have to show off my food. I saw her heartwarming look, and Limaga put on a fire and pretended to surprise, and said, Lanxin, look at you, I didn't say it was you, why did you take the seat by yourself? Besides, you are usually very good to everyone, so you shouldn't have sex with this, unless, do you know what the inside story is, and you haven't said it? As soon as this happened, the whole audience burst into laughter, and several classmates shouted directly, Ha, Lanxin, why are you so nervous? Qingchuan didn't name him. Yes, why is your face so naive? Isn't there really any inside story? Lan Xian was so angry that her lips shook and she smiled hard. Qingchuan, you really would joke. What inside story can I have? I just care about it casually. I am very happy that your performance will be successful. Gao Xing is so bad, I wish you could just die from the community. How can this guy always catch my handle? I have to go away tightly, otherwise I really have to go through the car. I heard her heart, almost laughing, and I still put on my face as innocent. Oh, that's how, thank you for your concern, Lan Xian. By the way, there will be a prize ring to come, your class program is not bad. I think you can win the prize, let's work together. Lan Xian was so nervous that she was so angry that she left in shame with her follower. The classmates around her were still discussing. Someone said in a whisper, Yukao, Qingchuan's mouth is too poisonous. Lan Xian was so mean that she didn't even let her face go. Ha, I see Lan Xian's expression, there is probably something wrong with her. Isn't this matter really related to her, right? Wang Fang came over and gave me a thumbs up, smiling so hard that her eyes were gone. Qingchuan, your operation is so exciting today. First, it was a performance bombing, but now it's so cool. I think she will dare to mess with you in the future. I was so proud of myself and pretended to be calm. It's nothing, she's indifferent, I just said, who knows that she's reacting so much. As it said, how can someone like Qingchuan always guess other people's thoughts? No, I have to observe it again. Doesn't she really have any special functions, right? I almost laughed out loud when I heard Wang Fang's heart, and turned the topic tightly. Don't gossip, there will be other performances later. Let's take a look. Maybe there are any fun programs. In the second half of the cultural festival, our class's sketch indeed won the Best Creative Award. When the prize was awarded, the whole audience was filled with excitement. Wang Fang and I went on stage to win the prize. The classmates in the audience shouted so hard that they all said, Wang Fang in Qingchuan is awesome. Sand sculpture sketch ceiling. I felt happy in my heart. This wave not only succeeded in reverse, but also made Lan Xian's sarcasm soaked in soup, which was so good. However, when I am happy, I still feel a little uneasy. Although Lan Xian was so speechless by me today, the unwilling verbal voice in her heart made me feel that things were not so simple. Especially in the past few days, I heard her voice occasionally mention bigger plan and so on. Although the specific content was not heard clearly, I always felt that there was still a secret behind her that she had not dug out. After the prize was over, Wang Fang and I sat on the playground eating ice cream, looking at the sunset beside the sky, and felt a little emotion in our hearts. The battle was pretty today, but Lan Xian was as deep as a bottomless pit. I had to continue to focus on her with her reading skills so that she would not make any trouble. To be able to take a slight feeling, you have to hear Haren's heart. After all, this guy's shameful brain is really too stressful. Just as I was thinking, a figure suddenly walked over from afar, and my white shirt was shaking under the sunset, making my heart beat faster. It was Haren. He was holding 2 bottles of mineral water in his hand and walked towards me, his ears still red like tomatoes. His heart sounded like a clever man in my brain. Boke, Qingchuan was so naughty today, the performance was so simple. Do I want to go over to express my gratitude to her? What is good? What if you say something wrong? No, I have to dress cool. My lips curled and I thought to myself, why is this guy still so fun in his heart? It seems that in the next campus life, there are more jokes and battles waiting for me. A few days after the cultural festival, the popularity in the campus had not yet dissipated. When everyone saw Wang Fang and I started to cheer, calling out, "Sand sculpture ceiling," and "mouth combination," which made us look red like the campus network. I felt so happy that I not only won the prize in the performance, but also made Lan Xian's jealousy yellow, which was so good. However, I didn't relax my vigilance. The kind of person like Lan Xian was as deep as Mariana. On the surface, it was as if it were nothing, but through the sounds I heard from my heart, I could always feel that she was holding her ultimate move. That morning, as soon as I entered the campus, a sudden, buzzing, sound in my brain, as if something was opened, which was even wider than the scope I heard on the previous cultural festival, and even the sounds of the exercise venue several 10 meters away could be captured. I was stunned and rubbed my sun acupoint, thinking, why did this mental therapy be upgraded again? But when I think about it, there are more information and I can hear more. Isn't this a perfectly enhanced version? I grinned, straightened my ears and prepared to scan something new around me. As expected, as soon as I walked down the teaching building, I heard all kinds of chaotic thoughts, such as, "Stay late to play games last night," and "I'll be in a bad mood in class," and "That student is so good, should I go and take a trip," just like opening a campus voice broadcast station. Just as I was listening, a familiar and harsh sound suddenly came from afar, and my language was full of pride. Qingchuan has been in such a big way, right? Do you think I won the cultural festival after I gave me a few sentences? Joke. I have many cards in my hand. Let's wait. After a few days of the school-wide conference, I will make you unable to turn over. There is also that gossip that I have already compiled. Teacher Li has been fooled by me and has been transferred to the group. Who can think that I have released the fake news? By then, the whole school knew that Qingchuan had offended someone he shouldn't have offended, and she would still dare to fight me. My heart skipped a beat. Isn't this Lan Xian's voice? School-wide conference? Fake news? Even Teacher Li was fooled. What kind of thing is playing with this stock? I looked in the direction of the sound. Lan Xian was standing at the corner of the corridor, chatting with several girls, and she still had that gentle and harmless smirk on her face. I narrowed my eyes and the fire in my heart went upwards. Okay, Lan Xian, you not only criticize me, but also write fake news to manipulate others, and even the teacher dared to cheat. This heart is really poisonous. I pretended to be nothing, and continued to walk to the classroom, but my ears were not idle. I tried to listen to her inner thoughts more in the picture. Sure enough, after not a single meeting, her heart was hurt again, and the content was more exciting than the other. The gossip I compiled last time said that a senior high school student was forced to retire because he offended someone. The whole school believed it. Teacher Li even went to investigate, but he found nothing. I was so laughing to death. Also, although the comments about Qingchuan secretly stolen the test papers before were not successful, many people still have opinions about her. This trick is so easy to use. At this school-wide conference, I have to put another big piece of information, saying that Qingchuan was doing some tricks behind him, destroying the class team, and then see how she was whitewashed. I was so nervous that I could hear that Lan Xian's goods were refreshing my 3 views. She compiles gossip, spreads out rumors, and uses fake news to manipulate other people's views on me. Even the teacher is played in her hands. This is no longer a simple green tea business, but it is simply the campus version of Yen Guru. I gritted my teeth and made a secret decision in my heart. This time, she must reveal her true face and let her green tea people collapse in front of the whole school, otherwise there may be more than a few more people cheated by her in the future. When I arrived at the classroom, I sat down, my brain was still flying. It's not enough to hear her plan just by reading the mind. I have to have a solid evidence to expose her to the whole school. Just as he was thinking about how to start, Wang Fang sat next to me and grinned and said, "Qingchuan, have you heard it? Recently, there was another big gossip, saying that the retired senior student in the 3rd year of high school was actually wronged. Someone deliberately gave a holiday news to make him famous. Now the whole school is discussing this matter. I felt a little bitch in my heart. Isn't this the gossip that Lan Xian just mentioned? I pretended to ask casually, oh. Who gave the fake news? Are there any evidence? Wang Feng was shaking her head and said, I don't know, I heard that the teacher couldn't find out. Anyway, this is quite evil, and I feel that someone behind her is making trouble. Do you think it's a person like Lan Xian? Doesn't she like to provoke trouble in normal times? Why did Qingchuan mention Lan Xian again? She won't really know what she is going to do, right? No, I have to calm down and don't show my horse. When I heard Wang Feng's heart, I almost laughed out loud, but I was calm on my face. It's possible, Lan Xian is the man who is behind her back. Who knows what she is fucking behind her back? But Feng, we have to dig deeper into this matter and say we might catch big fish. You are so generous, so I can listen to it. Recently, who is spreading these gossips, especially those who are close to Lan Xian, so we have to figure out the source. When Wang Feng heard this, his eyes lit up, okay. If you wrap it around me, my gossip soul has been burned again. It will take only 2 days. I will give you some hot news. I smiled and pointed, just in my heart calculating the next step. It's not enough to rely on Wang Feng to hear it alone. I have to find a reliable helper. After all, Lan Xian's plan this time is too big, and it may be difficult for me to deal with it alone. Just as I was thinking, a figure walked into the classroom door, and the white shirt was so clean that it was Howren. He looked at me as soon as he came in, then sat down with his head lowered, his ears still red like tomatoes. His heart sounded like a climax in my brain. Qingchuan looks so good in this robe today. Oh, did I look at it again? No, you have to wear cool things, but why is your heartbeat so fast? What should she do if I peek at it? I held back my smile and thought to myself, why is this guy still such a silly in his heart? However, although Howren is shy, he is not bad at heart. On the day of the cultural festival, he took the initiative to help our group move props, which is quite reliable. Maybe, this time I can pull him into the group and help me deal with Lan Xian. I deliberately looked at him more, and sure enough, his heart sounded again. Candle, she looked at me. She won't find out that I'm tight, right? No, I have to find a reason to say it in the past, but what should I say? Borrow a bill? No, it's too old-fashioned. I curled my lips and decided to take the initiative to attack. I stood up and walked to his desk, pretending to say casually, Howren, the school conference is about to open recently. I heard that every class must send someone to the stage to speak. Do you have any ideas? Our class must have some interesting content, so don't let people fall asleep. He was stunned for a moment, his face turned red in an instant, and he stammered, ah. This. I don't have much experience, why don't you come? Qingchuan, aren't you very good at doing a good job? Full work? How could I say such a stupid thing? She wouldn't think I was bored, right? No, I have to save it, but my brain is blank. I heard his heart and almost laughed, and I was still saying, I thought, but this time it was a bit cumbersome. I couldn't handle it alone. You are usually a good person, why don't you help me with it? I just dig some inside stories, saying that I might be able to go on stage and explode a lot of stuff or the kind of stuff that explodes. Howren's eyes lit up. Although he was still tight, there was a little more excitement in his linguistic spirit. Revelation? What gossip? It sounds quite interesting. I can try it. Try it? How did I answer so quickly? Isn't Qingchuan thinking that I'm very frustrated, right? But this is a difficult opportunity to do things with her, I have to show good things. I felt happy in my heart and patted his shoulder, okay, that's it. Let's discuss with Wang Feng later to ensure that I'll make this hot. In the next few days, Wang Feng and Howren formed a temporary, revelation team, and began to secretly investigate the fake news about Lan Xian. Wang Feng is responsible for listening to the source of gossip. Howren uses his talent to talk about classmates who are close to Lan Xian. However, I rely on my mental skills and listen Lan Xian's inner thoughts at any time, trying to capture more broken points. Sure enough, within 2 days, Wang Fang came to me excitedly and said in a low voice, "Qingchuan, I've dug up a lot of information." There was a boy named Xiao Li who had previously helped Lan Xian with his feat in the cultural festival. Recently, he heard that he was spreading gossip about senior high school seniors who retired from school. He said that it was instructed by Lan Xian, and he gave him some help. He didn't say what to do, but he would definitely not be able to get involved with Lan Xian in this matter. I clicked the head, which matched what Lan Xian said in her heart. I asked again, "Is there any evidence?" "I can't guess it alone, we have to have real things." Wang Fang snatched his head, "There is no evidence." The mouth here is quite serious, but I heard that there is a chat record with Lan Xian on his mobile phone, and I might have any key information. My heart was moved. Chat records. This is a big breakthrough. Just as she was thinking about how she got this, Haoran also came over and said in a low voice, "Qingchuan, I asked a few classmates. They said that Lan Xian has been getting close to Teacher Li recently and often go to the office to please teach questions, but someone heard her come out and laughed secretly, saying, the teacher is really a terrible, and the specifics are not clear. Collection, wouldn't I say this too directly? Qingchuan won't think I'm provoking trouble, right? But this matter is indeed a bit unfavorable, I have to help her." I felt warm in my heart as I heard Haoran's heart. Although this guy was tight, he was still quite reliable. I clicked the head and pretended to be calm. "Okay, I've recorded this. Haoran, Fang, we have to speed up. The whole school conference will open next week, and we don't have much time left. Fang, you keep staring at Xiaoli to see if you can get more words. Haoran, please pay attention to Lan Xian's interaction with the teacher. I'll think about it again and get those chat records." After school that day, I specially met Lan Xian in the campus, pretended to chat a few casually, and tried to hear more of her heart in the picture. Sure enough, when she saw me, she smiled like a flower girl, and her heart felt something else. Humph, is Qingchuan a man coming to get close to me again? Think I'll be there. Joke. My plan is in vain. On the day of the school conference, I want to let your reputation be heard, see if you dare to fight me. I have already quipped Xiaoli, and I have a very serious mouth and have also deleted the chat records. Qingchuan, you can't catch anything, haha. I almost rolled my eyes when I heard it. Did I remember the chat record? Okay, Lan Xian, you are really cautious. However, if you delete it, it doesn't mean you can't get it back. I sneered in my heart and still looked innocent. Lan Xian, I have heard a lot of gossip recently. Have you heard it? For example, the senior high school student who dropped out of school in his 3rd year of high school said it was fake news, and someone wrote it on purpose. What do you think? Her face froze and she smiled sweeter. Hey, Qingchuan, why would I know about this? I don't like gossip in normal times, don't guess. I guess it's just a fool. This is what I wrote, but you don't have any evidence, and it's useless to be so angry. I heard her heart sound, and the fire broke out in my heart, but I still said with a smile, "Oh, that's the case." Then I just asked, "Lan Xian, you are so kind, you will definitely not be able to have such a thing, right?" She reluctantly tilted her head and turned away. I looked at her back, clenched her fists, thinking that this time I will let you turn around. Although the chat records were deleted, the content I heard in my mind was already too much. Lan Xian admitted that she had compiled gossip and teacher cheating in her own voice, which was the biggest certificate. I decided that on the day of the school conference, she would use her heart's voice to compile it into humorous revelations, and the public revealed her true face, which made her feel ashamed. The school-wide conference arrived as scheduled, and a temporary lecture was set up at the venue. The audience was covered with black pressure, and all the teachers and students in the school were in full swing, and the atmosphere was as hot as a concert. As representatives of our class, Wang Fang and Haoran are ready to go to the stage to speak. On the surface, they are talking about the class-level cultural festival. In fact, I have already discussed with them that I would take this opportunity to explode Lanxin's information. When we got on stage, I took the tube and pretended to be in a pretentious manner, "Hello, classmates, teachers. Today, the general report of our class mainly talks about the cultural festival and the thoughts. Of course, there are some silly jokes. After all, we are the campus's Teeth King combination. I'm sorry for this name if I don't have any uncensored activities." The audience was filled with laughter, and someone shouted, "Qingchuan, come and be a little cruel. All work. A whole life." I felt happy in my heart and continued. On the day of the cultural festival, everyone had a lot of fun, but there were also some small episodes, such as someone's props were squirted and almost died of a club. Fortunately, we broke the scene, turned the fire into a laugh, and turned the crisis into a wolf court, haha. There was a laughter all over the whole scene. Wang Feng took the call and said with a frown, "Yes, the war wolf court has come out, what can we still be afraid of? But to be honest, the props are so bad, and it feels like someone is deliberately making a fool of themselves. Who would be so boring? Unless they know us, they also know where to put the props." The audience commented, and someone said in a short voice, "Yes, what's this, not an insider?" I took the opportunity to slam the iron and smiled and put on the knife. We don't guess the insider, but there are a lot of gossip in the campus recently, such as the senior high school retired from school. I heard it was fake news, someone deliberately wrote it, and even the teacher was fooled into the group. After a long investigation, I couldn't find anything. Ha, this operation is too good, it's just a campus version of the pretty fighting stories. The whole room was bursting with laughter, and several teachers couldn't help but laugh. I glanced at Lan Xian in the audience and found that her face was as white as paper, and her eyes were filled with panic. I heard her voice and her voice was terrified. "Bing Chao, how did Qingchuan know about this? She won't be really proof, right?" "No, I have to calm down and don't show my horse." I sneered in my heart, "Calm down. It's too late." Haren answered the phone at this time. Although his voice was a little shaking, he still said with a hard head, "Yes, the palace fight has come out. It's not the first time I've heard about gossip. Someone specializes in making trouble with fake news. On the surface, he looks like a mother in the sacred world. His heart behind him is so good that he can write a book called Green Tea Strategy. Ha, the contrast between this person is too big." The laughter in the audience became even more awesome, and someone shouted directly, "What the hell is the green tea guide?" "Ha, Haren, you are so good. Is there something in this, who is so deep?" I looked at Lan Xian's face becoming more and more difficult, and Lima Jia made the fire and said with a smile, "What's wrong with the contrast between people? Isn't there anyone in our campus that says you care about you, and if you have a holiday news behind you, even the teacher can cheat you, and the operation show is so good that you can be called the tea artist? Alas, by the way, Lan Xian, aren't you quite careful, people?" As soon as this happened, the whole scene was quiet for a few seconds, and then there was a bigger laugh and controversy sound. Everyone looked at Lan Xian, and someone directly cheered, "Lan Xian, what's going on? You're not really a tea artist, right?" "Ha, Qingchuan's mouth is too poisonous, Lan Xian's face is green." Lan Xian sat in the audience, her face turned blue and white, and she smiled hard. "Qingchuan, you have to have a way to joke, right? Why would I fuck this? I usually do it for everyone. What a fart, I want to tear you. But I have no evidence. How dare people like Qingchuan say these? No, I have to be innocent and I can't recognize it." I heard her heart's voice, almost laughing out loud, and still looked innocent. "Lan Xian, look at you being so tight, I didn't name it, why did you take the seat by yourself? Besides, it's really unethical to edit gossip and teacher cheating. Who has fucked who is so stupid? Are you right?" Lemma from the audience echoed, "Yes, what's your heart? Lan Xian, you explain it." "Ha, Qingchuan's operation is absolutely true, it's so good to be named." Lan Xian bit her lip and said for a long time, I I really haven't had such a thing. Qingchuan, don't say anything that has no evidence, you can't guess something without evidence. I heard the shoulders and smiled and said, ask. Okay, let's not guess. Let's just talk about the news I've heard recently, such as someone spending money to find someone to spread fake news, and saying the teacher is so terrible. How can I hear this familiar? Lon Xian, you won't have heard a similar news, right? The whole scene exploded again, with laughter and palm sound flying. Someone clapped his hands and read, Bog, Qingchuan's revelation is too fierce, who said, teacher is so terrible. Lon Xian, you won't really fuck this, right? Tell me. Several teachers' faces also darkened, especially Teacher Li, who looked at Lon Xian with his eyebrows, his eyes full of disgust. Lon Xian finally couldn't sit still, and stood up, her voice trembling, I really haven't said this, Qingchuan, you're dirty. I admit that sometimes I don't pay attention to it and may have offended people, but I've never had it in writing gossip. I haven't fucked anything before, I just fucked it, but I can't recognize it, it's all. How do people like Qingchuan know so many? No, I have to bite you to death and refuse to admit it. I heard her heart's voice, sneered in my heart, not admitting it. Then I'll add more fire. I pretended to put on a face and said, surprisingly, oh. Lon Xian, why are you so excited? Let's just talk about campus gossip, why are you so anxious? Then, you dare not put a hat on such a dirty thing. What's the truth? Everyone has a lot in their hearts, right? The audience immediately cheered, yes, there are so many in my heart. Lon Xian, why is her face so bad? Isn't there really a ghost? The palm and laughter sounded again. Lon Xian stood there, her face as if she had eaten bitter gourd. Her lips trembled for a long time, and finally lowered her head and said, I'm wrong. Maybe some things were caused by my accidental misunderstanding, which caused an error. I apologize to everyone. As soon as this happened, the whole scene was silent, and then there was a bigger sound. Someone shouted, Lon Xian thought it was wrong. Qingchuan's face was absolutely blown. Ha, the green tea man has collapsed, Lon Xian has nowhere to hide. I looked at her lowered look and felt very happy. I still said with a smile, Lon Xian, it is a good thing to know that it can be corrected, and everyone is not an ignorant person, right? But you have to pay attention in the future, don't say, inadvertently, anymore. After all, the name of the tea master, we can't afford it. The whole scene was hilarious again, and the sound of her palms lasted for a long time. Lon Xian was so embarrassed that she couldn't even lift her head, so she sat back in shame. Teacher Li stood up and said sternly, Lon Xian, I will investigate this matter again. I will spread rumors and deceive others in the campus. This behavior is absolutely intolerable. Qingchuan, your speech today is very brave, and it also reminds everyone to distinguish right from wrong and do a good job. The sound of the palm in the audience became even more intense. Wang Feng and Haran looked at each other and felt happy in my heart. After stepping down, Wang Feng patted my shoulder and smiled so hard that his eyes were gone. Qingchuan, your operation is so good today. Lon Xian's face, I can laugh for a year. Haran also read his face and said in a low voice, Qingchuan, you are so weird just now. The lyrics are more ruthless than the other, and I am almost laughing. Bored, why do I say such a straightforward thing again? Isn't Qingchuan thinking I'm stupid, right? But she is really so bad. Why is my heartbeat so fast? I heard his heart and almost laughed out loud. I patted his shoulder, Haran, Feng, you are more helping today, otherwise I wouldn't be able to do this alone. Lon Xian has been eating this time, so we can still give the campus a quiet place. Wang Feng smiled and said, what's the matter? Our king combination will continue to work hard in the future. Lon Xian is dead, and there may be some more fun next. I smiled and knew in my heart that although Lon Xian was wrong this time, the unwilling temperament in her heart was still there, and I guess she would not stop there. However, with the help of Wang Fang and Haoran, I was not afraid of anything. As for campus life, jokes and fighting are indispensable. Next, there are more fun things waiting for me. After the school conference, Lan Xian's green tea plant collapsed. The gossip in the campus continued for several days. When everyone saw her, they couldn't help but talk about her private words. Some even called her tea master, which made her walk down and dared not look up at people. Teacher Li later investigated the source of the fake news. Although there was no direct evidence that it was all Lan Xian's fault, her reputation was already revealed. The few young followers who were usually close to her also parted ways, and no one would want to hang out with her anymore. Lan Xian is a person who has suffered a lot this time and has finally become a laughingstock in the campus and can never make any trouble. And I, Qingchuan, became famous because of this battle. Everyone called me King of Me and Campus Detective. When I saw me, I started to make a fuss and let me work hard. Even a younger elementary school girl came to me to take a photo and said she wanted to learn management skills with me. I felt so happy that I not only crushed Lan Xian's guilt, but also turned it into a joking material manufacturing machine recognized by the whole school. This wave of operation was stable and unpaid. That morning, I walked into the campus with my bag on my back. The sun was shining on the playground, and the air was filled with a relaxed smell. Since Lan Xian turned around, the atmosphere in the campus has become much more harmonious. Without those chaotic remarks and rumors, the conversations of everyone have changed from gossip to who has made some embarrassment, or what jokes have been made by a teacher. My ears moved, and various hearts appeared in my brain, such as, will there be chicken legs in the canteen today, and, what should I do if I haven't finished writing the work, which made my mouth swell up. Just as he was happy, Wang Fang patted me on the shoulder from behind, grinning like a fool. Qingchuan, have you heard it? Lan Xian didn't dare to come to class anyway. She said she was sick and asked for leave. Ha, I'm so ill, are you sick? We'll lose your face. I rolled my eyes and complained, Fang, why are you so angry about this gossip soul? You are so happy that you are sick, are you lacking morality? She smiled and said in a short voice, what kind of morality is lacking? Am I good to do what I am doing for heaven? Besides, who doesn't know about this combination now in the whole school? Yesterday, a senior high school student came to me and told me to teach him how to do things. He said he wanted to use silly jokes to chase girls. Ha, I gave him a straight idea, but he really used it. Now the official club is dead. Take the groove. Why don't I put my mouth in my mouth again? Isn't Qingchuan thinking that I'm very silly, right? But she looks so good when she smiles, why don't I teach her a few silly jokes? No, what if she thought I was stupid? Hearing Wang Fang's heart, I almost laughed and said, Fang, your sand sculpture is too strong, right? Teaching people to pursue girls can also teach the effectiveness of social death. Why don't you start a sand sculpture training class? She was stunned and immediately patted her thighs. Hey, Qingchuan, you have no idea. Otherwise, if we really start a class, the name is Sand Sculpture Advanced Guide, which will be popular all over the school. Hot all over the school. How come I am real? But it's interesting to fuck anything with Qingchuan, why not try it? I heard her heart, and my shoulders trembled with a smile, and I squeezed my hand. Okay, let's discuss this big thing later. Let's go to the classroom first. Don't be caught by Lao Wang and go to the punishment station. When I walked to the classroom, I sat down and felt a Dao line falling on me. I took a sneak peek and found that it was Haoran. He sat in the front row, pretending to be low-headed reading, but his ears were red like tomatoes, and the heart sounds in his brain came out. Qingchuan looks so good in this blue robe today. Oh, did I peek again? No, you have to wear cool things, but why is your heartbeat so fast? What should she do if I find out that I'm tight? I held back my smile and thought to myself why this guy is still the same. There are so many inner scenes that can make idol dramas. But seriously, After these few times, especially when he went on stage to help me with Lawn Xian on the day of the school conference, my favorability for him has increased. On the surface, he is a cold school grass, but the shy and honest little drama scene in his heart is actually too funny. Just as he was thinking about how to tease him, the next class was over. Haren suddenly stood up and walked towards me with a bottle of mineral water. His face was calm and he said, "Qingchuan, the weather is quite hot today. I bought more bottles of water. Do you want it?" Bored? Why do I use this old-fashioned reason again? Isn't Qingchuan thinking I'm bored, right? But I really want to say a few more words to her. Why don't I ask her if there is anyone she likes? No, it's too awkward, I have to be calm. I heard his heart sound, and almost laughed out loud. I took the Aquarius and said with a smile, "Thank you, Haren. Why are your ears red again? Isn't it because of heatstroke? Do you want me to help you with it?" Puff. Wang Feng next to him blew it, laughing and chanting, "Qingchuan, your tiger and wolf word is coming again, blow it." Ha ha ha, I can't do it anymore. Haren's face burst into red in an instant, and his neck was red. He stammered, "It's okay, it's just sunny. Don't blow it, really don't need to." "Blow," she said, blowing again. How come my heart beat faster? What does Qingchuan mean? She doesn't really like me, right? No, I have to be calm, but my brain is in trouble. I looked at his at a loss, laughing so hard that my stomach hurts, and I rushed to help. "Just, Haren, don't be really good. Your ears are red like tomatoes, it's really fun." He lowered his head and slapped his back, saying, "Oh, well, it's okay, I'm ill." Artistic bullshit. Is it okay if I haven't treated it at all? Why can Qingchuan always hit me with shame? It's over, my school grass image is gone. I held back my smile and pretended that I didn't hear his heart, so I turned around and chatted with Wang Feng. But there was a little bit of a silly heart in my heart. Although this guy was silly in his heart, his clumsy and honest feeling was actually unbearable. I glanced at him and found that he was still peeking at me with his head down, and the corner of his mouth was striking, thinking, "Oh, how can this school grass be so cute?" In the next few days, campus life returned to peace. Wang Feng and I continued to work together as our silly combination, and we often spent some small work in class, which made the whole class fall back and forth. Haren is also getting along with me and Wang Feng more and more often. Although he still looks cool, he has never missed his heart, such as, "Qingchuan looks so good when he smiles," and, "Do I want to take the initiative?" I always want to tease him when I hear me. After school this day, the three of us made an appointment to go to the small forest behind the campus to discuss the class activities next week, so we could eat some snacks and relax. The light in the small tree forest shone down through the leaves, and the air smelled green grass. We sat on a big stone. Wang Feng took out a bag of potato chips and ate it and said, "Qingchuan, Haren, what's the whole thing for our event next week? Why don't you come to a sand sculpture show, and let the whole class perform the show, and you'll be laughing?" I clicked the head and said with a smile, "Okay, Feng, you have a good idea. Then you will go on stage to perform a sand sculpture rap first, and you can bomb the scene." She slapped her thighs and her eyes lit up. "It's a must. I've already figured out the words. I'm a small silly campus, I'm the most awesome in my life." Ha, what's the case? Is this too rustic? Qingchuan wouldn't laugh at me, right? But if she smiles, I will agree. Anyway, everything is fun with her. Hearing Wang Feng's heart, I almost sprayed the coquettish sound in my mouth, and said strongly, Feng, your words are indeed quite individual. Okay, when you sing, Haren and I will dance with you, how about it? Haren was stunned for a moment, and then hurriedly raised his hand, "Dance accompanying me?" I won't, why don't I help me get props or something? Dance with you? In the trough, I dance like a wooden head. Isn't Qingchuan going to think I'm stupid, right? But it seems quite interesting to go on stage with her, why not try it? No, I have to practice first, don't be out of trouble. I heard his inner thoughts, and my shoulders trembled with a smile. I pretended to be calm. Howren, what props should I take? How simple is the dance accompanying you, so we can just twist it 2 times. Who can still laugh at you? Besides, with me and Fang here, I can only bring the atmosphere. His face turned red again and said in a short voice, Then, that's okay, I'll try. Try it? Why did I answer again? Isn't Qingchuan really funny to me dancing, right? But she looks so beautiful when she smiles. Forget it, just smile. I couldn't hold it in, so I burst out laughing. Wang Fang looked at me for no reason. Qingchuan, why are you laughing at? Are you nervous? I snatched my head and held it in a hurry. It's nothing, I just thought of a joke. By the way, let's not just talk about the activities. Let's go to the milk tea shop next to the school to sit in. I'll ask for a visit and wish the 3 of us will become more and more awesome. Wang Fang heard this and said, I must go. Qingchuan, you are such a big shot, I will get the most valuable one later. Don't feel sorry. Howren also had a little head and smiled at the corner of his mouth. Okay, I'll go too. Go to the milk tea shop. Grooves, is this considered a date? No, I have to be calm, but why is my heartbeat so fast? Qingchuan asked for a visit, wouldn't she have any ideas? I heard his heart warm, and on the surface I still didn't know anything about it. I stood up and clapped my hands, then it settled, go, don't be too slow. When we arrived at the milk tea shop, the 3 of us found a seat by the window and sat down. The sun shone through the window. 3 cups of milk tea were placed on the table. The atmosphere was relaxed and warm. Wang Fang drank and browsed her phone, and there were a few silly comments coming out from time to time. The little brother in this video is really, if I had such value, I would have been popular. This made Howren and I feel happy. As we chatted, the topic turned into feelings for some reason. Wang Fang asked with a gossip, Qingchuan, Howren, you always get together. Are there any sparks? Don't hide it, hurry up. I was stunned for a moment, my face was a little hot, and I pretended to be calm. Fang, why did your gossip soul get burned again? What a little spark. Howren and I are ordinary classmates. We are more friends at the top, right? Howren was busy all the time, his face as red as a cooked sauce. Yes, warriors, nothing else. Fighter. Grooves, how do I say such a stupid thing? I want to say more than just friends, but how can I open my mouth? Isn't Qingchuan thinking I'm bored, right? No, I have to be brave, maybe she is too. I heard his heart sound, and my heartbeat was a little faster. I glanced at him and found that he was lowering his head and shaking his fingers a little. I gritted my teeth and thought, okay, Howren, you guys are so much in your heart, why don't you say it directly? Or I will take the initiative and save you from dying. Just as he was thinking, Wang Fang suddenly slapped the table and smiled and said, Hey, what does your face look red like? Are you still a fighter? Can a fighter achieve this effect? I think you are 80% like you, don't wear it, be honest and honest. I was even more embarrassed by her scream and glared at her. Fang, if you say nothing, I will ignore you. She chuckled and stood up. Okay, I won't say, I'll go to the washing room, you'll slowly, fighter, Ha, Qingchuan must be moved, and Howren is also nervous, and I have to leave some space for them, saying that it will be really successful later. Hearing Wang Fang's heart, I shook my head helplessly. How could this store always do such an operation? However, as soon as she left, the atmosphere was indeed a bit subtle. Howren and I looked at each other, and there was a tactile slide in the air. He lowered his head and said, Qingchuan, what Fang said just now, don't be true, I am. What is it? Why can't I say I can't export the trough? Qingchuan won't really misunderstand it, right? No, I have to say it clearly. I like her, really like her, but what do you mean? I won't die, right? I heard his inner thoughts, and finally couldn't help but open my mouth and smiled. Haren, why are you tight? In fact, Fang Fang said it was not completely wrong. I really like to be with you. Although you have a lot of feelings in your heart, it's quite cute. As soon as this came out, he was stunned, his eyes glaring like a copper-shaped bracelet, his face was so red that it could drip blood, and he hesitated. How do you know that I have a lot of feelings in my heart? Have I said it? Finger, she knows my inner thoughts. How did she know? Can you tell me that the word, shy, is written on my face? But is it true that she said she likes to be with me? No, I have to confirm, but my heartbeat is so fast. I looked at his panicked look and smiled even more. I didn't say it, but I could just guess it. Haren, don't worry, I like you very much, not only the fighters, but also the other kind of likes. He was stunned for a long time, and he was stunned for a few seconds before he concludes, Qingchuan, I like you too. Really, I have liked you for a long time, but I just don't dare to say that, for fear that you think I'm stupid. Stupid? Why am I stupid again? But she likes me too, really likes me. Oh my god, am I dreaming? No, I have to pinch myself, hey, it hurts. I heard his heart, and finally couldn't hold it back and lie on the table with a smile. Haren, how can you be so funny? Don't worry, I don't think you are stupid, but I think you are very sincere and lovely. We will be together in the future, how about it? He suddenly pointed his head, his face still red. Okay. Okay, together. Together. Kitchen, am I in love? I fell in love with Qingchuan. Oh my god, my heart is about to explode, but why am I laughing like a fool? No, I have to be calm, but I can't calm down. Looking at his tight and happy look, my heart was as sweet as if I had eaten honey. I reached out to pat him on the head. Okay, don't be tight, just love, it's not a big deal. We are still the same, we should do it all, be a silly, what's the difference? A little soon. The trough is so fast that it's about to fly. How can Qingchuan be so sweet? I can't do it anymore. I have to drink a bite of water to make it shocking. I heard his inner thoughts and smiled so hard that my eyes were almost out. How could this guy be so silly? Just as he was smiling, Wang Fang came back. When he saw our expression, he came over with a gossip. Hey, what's going on? You've gotten red in your face. Let's say, who confesses first? I rolled my eyes and pretended to be calm. Fang Fang, your gossip soul is gone, what's wrong? Or are you going to leave space for us? She slapped her thighs and smiled so hard that she leaned back and forth. Haha, I know. Okay, you have to take me to play with you in the future, don't throw away my lights. Lighting bubbles? How can I use the lamp to bubble with the trough? But Qingchuan and Haren are really good at matching. I have to think about how to surprise them with a romantic and pleasant surprise. I am so obsessed with this kind of sweetheart. Hearing Wang Fang's heart, my heart warmed up and said with a smile, don't worry, Fang Fang, no one can throw you away. The three of us will have to continue to blow up the scene in the future. Haren also pointed and said with a red face, yes, we are together, we are not afraid of anything. That night, the three of us chatted at the milk tea shop until dark and we didn't stop laughing. When I got home, I lay on the bed, my brain was full of today's pictures, Haren's shameful and sweet inner thoughts, Wang Fang's silly and warm assists, and the happy time of the three of us together. My heart was filled with warmth. The moonlight came in outside the window. I looked at the ceiling, clenched my fists, thinking, I was so conscious that I could read the mental skills. Although it was at first that I was busy with my hands, it was because of it that I realized the sincerity of so many people around me, exposing Lan Xian's sarcasm, protecting the harmony of the campus, and regaining love and friendship. From now on, I have to continue to use this ability to bring more laughter to everyone and make campus life full of sand sculptures and happiness. The lights in the campus were lit far away, I grinned, closed my eyes, and felt satisfied. This period of youth has become particularly wonderful due to the blessing of reading the mind, and the story of Haoran and Wang Fang, with me will continue in my laughter.